Step 1, find proven concepts. Now I'm going to show you how I find different ideas to put on different products and sell. If you have existing designs already, you can skip this if you want, or if you want to figure out how to come up with more variations, you're welcome to watch, or maybe you'll even get some ideas on the existing designs that you have. One thing that might be helpful for you as you are learning the different things that you can do to create different designs is to open up an idea file. So I like to have just a regular notepad file where I just type in anytime I have an idea on something different, because as you go through the different tools, you'll probably have zillions of different ideas, and this way you could track everything. Now at first, I'm going to show you how to look for word-based designs, because the word-based ones are how you can very easily come up with a zillion different designs very inexpensively, and you could put them all up. It costs you nothing, and then once you start getting sales on those, then you can look into getting more complex designs. One of the first things that I do every time is I just go over to Google Images. It's very simple, but it works really well. To get to Google Images, go to images.google.com, and you just type in whatever niche you want to start out with, and there is going to be a separate video on how to know what niche to start out with if you're completely brand new, you don't know where to begin. But really the cool thing about this type of process is the way that I'm showing you how to list the products is you don't have to spend anything. See what you like, see what sticks, and then move on from there. So you don't really need to limit yourself in any way, because it takes such a short time to get the design made, put it on a product, and then list it. Let's say right now we're in the knitting niche. To start getting ideas for different word-based designs, I would just type in something like funny knitting, maybe funny knitting t-shirt, funny knitting mug, funny knitting meme. I'll do funny knitting meme first. And I'm going to look for different things that might work really well for a mug. Right away I see all different types of things. What do you mean knitting doesn't count as exercise? I can see that as a word-based design very quickly. So I'm just going to open up an idea file here. I'm going to write, what do you mean knitting doesn't count as exercise? Because that's something that we don't need a design for people to see. People will see those words. What do you mean knitting doesn't count as exercise? They'll get it. They'll smile. They'll think it's funny. I just want to go home and knit. That's another one that would very easily be just a word-based design. We don't need to have a picture on that one. And when we look through other ones, I got 99 problems, but a stitch ain't one. Oh, that's awesome. That would do really well. And I actually know that because I have one that I created in a app, that $2.99 app I mentioned on the welcome video. It says I got 99 problems, but a pit bull ain't one, or a pit ain't one for the pit bull niche, and it's done really well. So that one would be great for knitting. I mean, there's so many different things. If I'm sitting, I'm knitting, that would be another good one. I'm not addicted to knitting. I can stop after just one more row. You see this already doesn't have much of a picture. All of these different things. I knit so I don't kill people. You can create designs with all of these just on words, which is awesome. I've written down 3 things. I've mentioned another 3. We can keep going here and just get tons and tons of ideas. And this was just funny knitting meme. Now, if I want to go to, let's say, funny knitting shirt, I bet we're going to find different things. Yep, I like knitting more than I like people. This is already very text-based. Here we have again, I'd rather be knitting. Mess with a knitter and you're gonna get stitches. That would be a good one. Let's hook up. If you take this and try it on the different products and the different terms, you could just sit here forever and come up with all kinds of cool things to get started with. Google Images may often be all I end up using because there's already so much gold there, and it's so easy to see one thing that leads you into a zillion other ideas. It's great. I'm going to go over a couple more tools on different things you can do. Some of them are free, some of them are paid, so whatever you like, just use that and then discard what you don't. Another tool that I really like is Pinsearcher. There's also a Chrome extension called Pinterest Sort. They both do the same thing, which is you go on Pinterest, you type in something, let's say knitting shirt or knitting mug, and they will go through and find the knitting shirts or mugs that have the most pins on Pinterest from people who have basically seen the pins and then put them on their Pinterest boards. Now, people who use Pinterest, there's a ton of females who love to shop on there, and so if they're pinning things, a lot of people pin things that they plan on buying later. So I think using these kind of pinning tools is very helpful to see the types of things that you might be able to sell. Or you can even do the Pinterest sort using the likes. Let me show you quickly how that works. You would go onto Pinterest and type something like knitting shirt, and you can see here when it comes up, you see this one has 119 pins, this one 1.4 thousand, 36. It's all over the place. But if we go and use the Pinterest sort tool, we can sort here by repins. We're going to hit sort, and really quickly it'll go and switch things. So for this one, I'm not getting a ton of really great things right away, so I'm going to go through and actually change this because it looks like I'm getting knitting patterns. I'm going to change this to funny knitting shirt, and here's more what I'm looking for. These are the types of things that we could put on mugs. So let me quickly sort this out here. I'm going to sort by repins. The pin searcher is really cool because you can put in, you want to sort by the next 50 pages, and then it'll sort all those different things. I'm not sure how many pins this one searches, but for right now, for example, we have 628 pins on I Knit to Burn Off the Crazy, which could very easily be a text-based design that we put on a mug. This one right here is pretty much all text-based except for some knitting needles, which really isn't that big of a deal. It doesn't add that much. This one too could be a very good word-based design. There's not much. Let's see here. I work so she can knit. That's cute. That would be another one. Knitting takes balls. I'll go to bed after this row. That's a fantastic one, and I know I would totally buy that too. So there you go. Here are more ideas for different things that would do well that we could put easily on mugs. So what I like about using this type of tool is it gives really good data from people who are likely to make purchases. When we're sorting by popularity, we can see what people are responding to the most. It's not something like Google Images where, although I do love Google Images, we don't know necessarily what people like on there. It does give great ideas. With a Pinterest sorter, we can start to see the types of things that people respond to the best. I have another tool that I use. It's over at rachelroffe.com/research tool. And this one sorts out by what people like the best, and then also, depending on what the site is, what they're actually spending money on. So let me take you over and show you that one. With this, the way it works is you can type in something like knitting mug, knitting shirt, funny knitting, whatever, and then it goes to the sites and sees, depending on what the site is, what people have purchased the most or like the most. For example, when I do knitting mug and I go onto Amazon, I see this one, a lady never discusses the size of her yarn stash, mostly all text-based. You can see it's number 176 in arts, crafts, and sewing, which is a really good ranking. Now some of these don't make complete sense, but this one is a really good one for that. The only place where housework comes before knitting is in the dictionary. I knit what's your superpower. All really good text-based designs here. These are super, super simple, and we could come up with very slight variations and make a lot of passive sales. Cafe Press is the only one here that actually doesn't give us data in terms of what's selling, but sometimes there's really cool designs, so I like to just look and see if there's anything that I could come up with. So, for example, my job is starting to interfere with my knitting. I think that people would really like that. It also goes through on Etsy, and then on Etsy you could sort by either favorites or views. So knitting isn't necessarily the best word all the time because you're also going to come up with the knitting patterns, but you can see here, just pour me my coffee, lend me my knitting, and slowly back away. If I'm sitting, I'm knitting. Knit on with confidence. I can't actually even read that one. Let's see what that one says. Knit on with confidence and hope through all crises. For that one, you can sort by here all by favorites, or you can sort by views, and then it'll come up with different options. By eBay, it sorts by what has been sold. So again, knitting here isn't the best, but we can see different items that people purchased. So here's the same one that was on Amazon. It sold one. Usually there's more, especially if you do like knitting t-shirt or funny knitting or something. Keep calm and carry on knitting. Pinterest does the same thing as the Pinterest sort tool. Our Redbubble, it searches by popularity, so what has gotten the most search volume. So here we can see, I don't know why that one's not showing up, see what that is. Oh, it looks like that's actually what it's supposed to look like. Oh, and then I guess that's the back of it. Okay, that's definitely not a good text-based design there, but it's nice nonetheless. I don't know, Margot, she's crafty could be one. This could be cute for baking. Let's get baked. Okay, so different things here. And then Wanello is an online marketplace, which I'm going to talk about later on when I go talk to you about other sites that you can list your products on. But this one here sorts by saves. People save the things that they like. Here's one text-based knitter's gonna knit. Keep calm and knit on. Zazzle, you can never have too much yarn. I knit so I won't kill people. I have sharp sticks and a lot of balls. Be afraid. Again, the I knit so I don't kill people. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. And then if we wanted to, let's say, change over to like funny knitting shirt, for example, it would come and give more ideas. So this is another way to just add in a whole bunch of awesome ideas to your arsenal. With that one, for example, we have coffee, cats, and yarn. It doesn't look like the shirts are selling super well on Amazon, but it definitely gives ideas though. Again, if I'm sitting, I'm knitting, everything is fine, knitting and wine. If we do the Etsy, winter is coming, knit faster would be a good one. Don't talk to me, I'm counting would be awesome. I know that because that's how I am when I'm knitting. So different terms will yield the different results, just like with everything we had been playing with. So that's that tool. You could really do any of that manually too if you wanted to. The Pinterest sort tool is a free Chrome extension. You could go to a site for eBay like watchcount.com and type in the different things and it'll come up and tell you some things that have been sold. You could go on Amazon and just open up a bunch of listings and look for the sales ranking, whatever you want to do, but any of it that gives you data on what people are responding to, I think is extremely helpful. So then from there, you could just go to your list, start making some slight variations on the designs that you found, and just very easily start popping these things up. It's crazy simple. There's really no need to overthink and worry about should I spend time on this or not, because as I show you when we're making the design, each one's going to be so freaking fast. There's no need to even second guess at all. The other cool thing, by the way, is that you can take the different designs that you've come up with or different ideas and change them for different niches. For example, I was looking a while ago for funny teaching memes, and I found something that said, I do this for the money, said no teacher ever. So it's like, I do this for the money in quotes, said no teacher ever. And so I changed it to, I do this for the money, said no social worker ever, said no policeman ever, said no firefighter ever. And it's so simple, but it sells all the time. So things like that that you found here, you can easily change. Even like if I'm sitting, I'm knitting, it rhymes, but you could do if I'm sitting, I'm crocheting, and I bet people would like that too because it talks about who they are and what they like to do. With any of the designs you found, really, you could go and change them around a little bit and just change a couple words if you want, modify them slightly. Heck, really, if you wanted to, you could use the same exact phrase because when I was showing you, especially with my research tool, and you were looking at the different sites for what was doing well, we saw if I'm sitting, I'm knitting on several different platforms, still doing well. Or even on Amazon, there was one where a couple of the mugs all said the same exact thing. That happens a lot. You just put your variation on it, you have a different color text, you have a different really anything, and odds are you'll make sales from that too. Unless you're using trademarked names, you shouldn't have any problems with that. A lot of times, like when you're using memes and stuff, it's not like anyone else is even selling the phrase or anything. So it's just being passed around. So if it works, pop it on something and then it can sell really well. And if you don't feel right doing that, then no problem. Just switch it up a little bit or get ideas or move it to other niches. Bottom line is this whole thing is super simple. You really don't need to overthink. And because it's so quick to get these designs up, there's really not a lot of worry about you're potentially failing or anything. Just pop them up, move on, and keep going. That is that for this section for how you can come up with awesome ideas, proven concepts that people like. And then in the next section, we're going to talk about how you can create a great design using these tools that I tell you about. Let's move over there.